Hey guys, Nick and Danny here, bringing to you guys the Fuel Hunt Technique series. And in this video, we're gonna look at the hand-on-hip Toriano and how to stop that pass. So previously, we saw what to do when they grab both ankles. Now what happens as they progress around our guard if they decide to frame our hip instead? So notice when they're framing our hip that they're no longer controlling this foot. So this is good for us. Now, the only thing we need to be careful of is their ability to close distance even quicker now that they're in closer proximity. But I think it's a good trade-off for having free range with this foot here. And again, they're not gonna be able to double back the same way, so we don't have to really worry so much about the leg drag. So we're gonna look to frame the same way, so they're circling, so I'm framing the shoulder, I'm framing the lower body as it comes towards me, and I'm gonna look to see what shoulder is available. If they make the mistake of keeping their head on this side, then I don't have to even worry about cross framing. I could just frame this back shoulder, and then just framing that back shoulder is gonna put us in a position to start pulling back and go straight to our attacks. But this is pretty rare. Usually they do a good job of keeping their head connected to their shoulder on the far side. So what I'm gonna look to do instead is I'm gonna look to go over the head with my foot, and if you feel like this is a flexibility issue, all you need to do is just make sure your frames are straight and that you're doing a slight chest escape. Too often I see people crunching here and they ask, why am I unable to pummel this foot in? Well, it's because you're curling your spine. So feel free to elongate your spine, give your legs some room to breathe, and now you should be able to bring that foot over to this shoulder, replacing my hand quite easily. Now, make sure you're not opening your knee. A lot of people will do this, and your frame is gonna be rendered gooey if you decide to frame with your knee flared. So make sure as you plant your foot to the shoulder, close your knee. My opponent looks to trade up to the hip. I'm framing very much the same way. They're doing a good job of blocking that back shoulder. So I'm gonna traverse the head, and I'm gonna frame this near shoulder, making sure that my knee is in alignment. I'm not flaring. We call this a gooey frame because it looks the same, but it's not a supported structure. So I need to make sure my knee is closed, and now as they run into my frames, they can't penetrate my walls. Now I'm gonna look to pummel this one to the inside of the arm. Once this foot is in, I'm free to take this one out as I open up my danger zone once more, looking to connect my opponent a bunch of different ways based on what they're giving us. So one more time, we're here, frame. Cross frame, alignment. Chest escape, pummel your foot in, take your foot out, in the danger zone, and start looking for your connections right away.
I think it's really important to understand as well, a very common question that we get asked is, as soon as you get to this point where he frames over the top, he does a good job chest escaping, and we're right here. The common question is, why can't they just run to the other side? So if I just start to run to the other side, I have to traverse the danger zone, taking pressure off of my opponent, and he's able to just open the danger zone back up. And now as I get to the other side, he's free to just start attacking. So if they want to switch sides on you, that's only going to help you.
And a little detail to help with that, if you want, is that after I'll frame and pummel this one in, another variation of this is I'll pummel my foot to the far lat so that I'm putting them back in the danger zone as I square up. And oftentimes this will lend itself to upper body attacks or lower body attacks, again, based on what part of their body they're doing.
We got a bunch of other videos on here as well, so click around, find them all, and let us know what you think.